Hello everyone, I'm Elizabeth Musanga. I realized sometimes ni could you push out there?
The other side of freelancing. We are talking about the good side of freelancing. The other side of freelancing.
Yeah, tell us what people don't tell us.
I bit more than I could chew, so I got overwhelmed and I was not able to deliver. You have to put yourself out there and you have to always be advocating for yourself. Hata venye people are like, I'm shy, I don't want to keep on mixing work with life. Your life is your work and your work is your life. So you just have no option but to actually just talk about what you do.
Liz nisaidie.
Wait, na nini?
Throw off inamaanisha nini?
Si kutapika.
Si throw up, throw off.
Oh, what has thrown you off?
Unasikia used in a sentence umeget. Unaweza kuwa tumekaa tu vizuri kwa hiyo kiti. Alafu all of a sudden umeanguka. Haujui nini imekuangusha, si ndio? That's throwing you off.
Oh, wait, unaanguka from the chair?
Relax. Come on, say no kakata.
No, I thought the word was throw off. Okay.
In my head, my thoughts were just okay. And then this phone call threw my mind off. Get us.
Kuku disorient.
Unganisha akili.
Wait, mimi narusha tu words zangu.
No, that's actually true. It's disorient. Nacheka tu venye ime sound ni kama tunacheza na tuko virtual. Tunacheza hii mchezo charades.
Charades. Oh yeah.
Ni kama mimi nilisomea DK primary school. Nani mnaongelea?
Wacha tuanze. We will not stop. Karibuni sana to Kenyan Design Conversation. Sasa Liz was supposed to be very first co-host. Mpaka tukarecord. Liz tulikuwa tunaongelea nini? Mistakes people made.
Yeah.
Correct data. Anyway, I'm glad to have you around as a guest, but before I have you introduce yourself, I'll have my co-host introduce himself.
I'm Mariga Elvis. I write code, but I want to be a designer. Na leo Liz, tafadhali make me a designer.
You've been wanting. What is stopping you?
This is the third year.
Question.
Wow.
Yeah.
Third year aspiring.
Yes. And still strong in wanting.
Okay.
Yes.
We shall see where the problem is.
And now tell us about you.
So yeah, hello everyone. I'm Elizabeth Musanga. A UI UX designer. I'm trying to learn how to introduce myself without the title being, anyway, I'm a budding Maradona, yes. And I'm a community manager. I love people. I love being able to interact with people and also just mentoring. And I'm a member of the Women Tech Makers community as an ambassador as well. So yeah, can say I've grown in the community and I love giving back to the same community, as well as I love creating experiences that make people have a better experience on the internet. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
I heard you say you're a marathon buddy.
Yeah, a budding Maradona. Yeah. Anyway, nangangana. Natafuta hobbies. So I hope by next year I'll be able to run a whole marathon. But let's see. Muniombe.
Unatafuta hobby?
Well, apart from the ones that I do,
mimi niko na moja naweza.
Yes, natafuta hobby. Hebu niambie ni gani sasa?
Kukula chakula kama Mluya.
Ati kukula. That's hiyo ni lazima. It's part of staying alive.
I don't think so. Not everyone thinks like that.
Oh, really?
Akiwa kuna watu wengine wajui kukula. Speaking for them.
Okay.
Speaking for themselves.
So you need to have eating as a hobby. I'm just like, what? Well, hiyo nayo I can say I am not struggling in that sector.
Thing as a hobby ni kukiwa na form mahali naambia mimi before kitu mimi nataka kuonyesha vile najua kukula. Hebu niwekeni ugali kilo 2 hapo na mboga kidogo.
Hiyo nayo okay. Tena sisi za mukbang and other things and mlima ya ugali that I can do, just normal eating, like enjoying food. Yeah. But anyway, that's sijui view. I think that's just yeah, sijui kuwa na that inaitwa venye Chantal anasema she's speaking for people wenye wana hobby ya kukula. I'm just like, okay, I thought like, wake up, have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner, like, well, if it's there, that is like when you're hungry, see your body inakupeanga hiyo nini ya like una feel you're hungry, then you need to eat, then you eat.
Sasa kumaanisha kuita food testing how could you?
Ati mkinita food inakuja kutest. Kuna kutest na kuna hiyo yenye Mariga anasema ya kukula mlima.
Si ni mlima tuna test.
Ama hiyo ndo food testing.
Sinia inakujanga inatoshana aje?
Unaona sinia? Unaletewa sinia mzima hivi.
Hiyo ni food testing kweli. Na misuse English.
Ni context. Siko misuse. Ni venye una picture. Mimi na picture chakula iko kwa sinia. As in chakula. Hiyo ndio nafaa ito chakula. Hiyo nyingine ni kama appetizer. Yes.
Oh wow.
Kwanza
So sasa sinia ndo food testing. Sasa una test food yote iko kwa sinia.
Yes.
Very interesting. Okay, sasa ukitest sinia mzima and then so what are you eating?
Sini kama venye mgonjwa mluya mgonjwa akipelekonga chai na tamu. Si lazima nijiongelee. Mimi nikipelekeanga anko yangu, nikiendanga hospitali kona anko yangu, simpelekeange mnasemanga a bouquet of flowers. Yes. Unapelekea thermos ya chai, akimaliza unasema karibu anatoka hospitali. Hata tuseme amepona.
I think that's a thing Africans do. Kutumia your ability ya kumaliza chakula kama SI unit ya kupona. It's not nice.
It's very nice.
Kama chakula ni tamu. Interesting.
Anyway, sasa leo tunataka kuongelea freelancing
and UX pricing.
Oh yeah, and UX pricing. Yes.
Like anyway, let's go easy. Tell us what people don't tell us about freelancing. We know freelancing comes with money.
Hiyo pesa simnitafutie maliko hiyo freelancing, guys.
And freedom.
And freedom to work anywhere.
Oh yeah, the freedom. That I can attest to. But okay, so the good. I mean, you've seen the good side of freelance, and there's the freedom. Definitely, you get to curate your own schedule, which I really love. And honestly, I think I was always like, since I did an 8 to 5 at some point, nilikuwa tu nataka kufanya something like this, and then. Yeah, COVID happened and most people went remote, and now I got to see that, okay, this is what people are doing. And I really nikasema to me, this is the way I want to go. So for me, freelance and just working remotely, I think it's the best thing that I can say happened to me this year. Yeah, because I've gotten a chance to be able to do what I have wanted to do with my time. Like, sijui kuwa free this like this my whole life. Okay, see it free really, but yeah, you get the point. You're not working around someone else's schedule really. It's yours. And but the other good thing about freelance is, I mean, you get the flexibility. That's the first thing. And then the other part is, yeah, you're your own boss, which is tricky. Because sometimes, you're the CEO, you're the product manager, you're the designer. So you become the whole company.
Now in front.
Customer.
Manze. Though, at least niliacha code, so I was like, yeah, let me just strictly just do design. But if you want a developer, I can easily just get someone to work with or something. So, yeah, the money, of course, I've heard there's money. I remember there's someone I interviewed while I was in school in a certain community, and they are freelancing. They've always been freelancing, and I was like, whoa, this person is living the life. Like, not really at financially and a blow pesa, but like you can see this person is earning money and getting time to spend their money, and just like also time to spend with family and friends. And I was like, that's a good part. Like you get to be able to strike a balance. Sometimes, not all the time, but yeah, like it makes it a bit easy, honestly. Yes. Yeah, for the money, I think need you the fact that you get to, that depends on now your ability to be able to manage projects, and also not just that you must juggle many projects to be able to make more money, but at least it's uko peke yako, ama hata kama it's not a big team like the way it is in employment, where there's this whole structure, and as much as umefanya kazi mob and all that, you're just going to get your salary whichever it is at the end of the month. So I think that's a good thing, the beauty of it, because you can work crash course for 2 weeks and you finish the project that you needed to have finished, and you're paid for that, and you can rest for like a week or a couple of days and pick up another project or something like that. I think for me it's that flexibility, ndo imekuwa ikinibamba. Yeah.
Project yako ya kwanza ilikuwa ni gani? Freelancing.
Itakuwa a story for another day. But okay, I don't know, it's very oh wow. Okay, I can't say it's like specifically ilikuwa hii, because honestly, before I ended up now purely deciding to work on design, because I've been doing design for the past like couple of years, but like purely 3 years niliacha kukode like 3 years ago. So I purely now focused on design, and then I was still doing other things, like still in school coding and doing other things as well. So by the time now, like so 2.5 years ago, that's when I fully focused on now UI UX. Like I'm not going to do CG, I'm developing the app or I'm developing the website, I'm just doing the design. And so I've had my first time gig in freelance in different ways. Kuna moja nilifanya ya social media management. So but then okay, so your design when was the first time? Oh yeah, it was this ilikuanga 20 what? Yeah, 2021 or 2022. Yeah, 2022. I think that's the first time like I was now individually I landed a project and started, ilikuwa tu jokingly, I just went and okay, not really jokingly, but somebody said they were looking for a designer who mwenye alikuwa anafanya like who could also like develop a website. And I was like, saizo I do not know how to use like easy website builders like Wix and WordPress, but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And I did the design. And, this client was like from the UK at that time. And he was like, okay, how long is it going to take you? So I have no idea. I mean, niko tu zile za, maybe, I think it will, I think, yeah, I'm like, I know I'm a fast learner. So it's going to take me like maybe a couple of days to learn how to use this platform, and then a couple of days to build this. Then now plus the design part. So, because I'm at 2 weeks. So yeah, the clients were just like, okay, sawa, you'll be sending me the invoice at the end of the week. I was like, oh wow. So this is how things operate out here in this world. Like singoje salary at the end of the month. You're just telling me every week, Ikisha, you bill me the hours you worked. And I was like, wow, okay. So long short of it is I learned how to work with Wix. I built this client the website. It was actually ilikuwa ya beshte yake. So this person loved it. There's a feature, actually ilikuwa tu like niko nimeongeza gallery section. on this part because it was for like a salon or something. Yes, a salon, hair, beauty. Yeah. Then he was like, oh yeah, I love these things that you've added here. Maybe you can add that on my website as well. So he's like, yeah, akanipea now pia kufanya for this. And then, yeah, hata ndo alinikuja na the price is like, okay, can I pay you this to just change this for me? I was like, wait, first of all, it should be illegal if I am like being paid to do things I don't know how to do. But I was like, damn, this person is actually trusting me to do this. But since I delivered the first time, why not? So yeah, I realized sometimes could you push out there? And yeah, so that was my first experience freelancing. I can say I learned a lot from the client in terms of how to price and also how to communicate deadlines, because he was very like, I think, I mean, it's probably they've been there before and worked with people in freelance and all that. So, they were just like, oh, here's the contract. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even have a contract. So they're like, yeah, I've sent you the contract, just sign it. And then, they told me if there's anything, if the hours change, actually the project ended up taking like 3 weeks. And yeah, because the first, I didn't take like 2 days to learn, because that time bado nilikuwa shule. So I'm like, I have school, I'm trying to learn weeks. Yeah, it was actually weeks, not even hard, but yeah. Then I learned it and then I did it. Yes, so I think my first experience there would probably be, I mean, for a comrade, that amount was like, okay. For me, it was exciting at that point, given the time it took me to do that. But what I learned, my takeaway from that point was, yeah, like you can also challenge yourself. It's good to challenge yourself, and also it's nice to like communicate and everything, because yeah, it was like updating them on like what was the challenge and everything. Yeah, and that was basically the first experience doing design.
I really like that story. I like that you really learned a lot from that. Like, that client was understanding and tolerant enough to end up teaching you some stuff.
Yes.
I've had a very similar freelancing experience, and just not to shock you, but they kind of are also foreign. Wantoka, I think Germany or something, somewhere tu huko.
Okay.
Mpaka ananitumia kitu, mpaka ananiambia okay, so ni developer, by the way, ni developer, ananiambia hii table, you know what, let me send you this book, and then he sends me the refactoring UI. That book is expensive. But it's like it's kind of depicts UX in a way also Tailwind does. Interesting. Like, and then I didn't even design a lot. Mi nilimredesignia to, I think, screen moja ama mbili ama ni tatu of the art he was working on. Na akaniambia nitakulipa averagely how a designer is usually paid. That was my first freelancing job. Sijai manage kumatch tena hiyo price.
Oh wow.
Nilipa in USD. Oh my god, it was a nice flip. I bought my first seats. Independence.
Enyewe.
Nini yako story?
Story yangu mimi nilipatana mzungu ama watu wa majuu. Mimi hata kupatananga na Wakenya. Sasa yangu nilikuwa kwa group fulani ya Telegram, mtu akasema nataka logo. Hapo niko huko mashinani. Sasa sisi nikaingia inbox yake. Akaniambia nataka logo. Nikamwambia tuma deposit, lakini pesa ya Mkenya si USD.
That's more emphasis.
Yeah. Sasa unajua nyinyi mnadika na $, tunasikia $, na €.
Si kila siku, disclaimer.
It's a one time thing, uski.
Sasa mlikuwa mkiongelea
uski one time.
Sasa nikadesignia logo, hata siku design logo. Ndio nilikuwa wocha na sina laptop, nikapatia beshte yangu hiyo kazi aka design. Kiasi akaniambia nataka website. Ilibidi nimetoka kidogo. Nilitoka sasa wocha nikaenda ku design na tuka implement.
Wow.
Hivyo sana ulianzanga freelancing.
Wow.
Oh nice.
Sasa
Okay, interesting.
because umesikia ameongelea about deadlines.
Yeah.
Like she got taught how to communicate.
Yeah.
Deadlines. Ameongelea a lot of soft skills hapo. Mimi nimeenda kumongelea hard skills. So wewe sasa hiyo experience ilikupea nini?
Experience. Kitu ya kwanza manze nilijua. I think it was one of my first jobs probably. Niliambia naweza jiandika kazi.
No, ukajiandika.
Agent direct. Because I mean, that's how you started. Uli outsource talent.
By the way.
Hivyo sasa ndo nilianza. But I came to learn a lot. In terms of sana ni kutake client feedback.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It is the iterations for me, the revisions that never stop. How do you handle that, please?
So, kwanza hiyo story ya revisions. That is what made me end up losing a very good client.
Oh no.
Because I was dealing with another client who had endless revisions, and I was too nice. So, hapo kwa revisions, honestly, I think because I've had this experience where the client, of course, the always like the customer is always right, but you also need to know where to stand the ground between being the yes man and just and also like defending your work so that you don't end up isikuwe sasa ni client oriented design. It should be user oriented design. But yeah, I mean, definitely those are the stakeholders. You need to take the inputs they are giving you, but you are the expert. Like, you need to remember that every time. So maybe my experience has been, I've learned a lot in terms of, yes, kuna point yenye definitely they were right in what they told you to do. Then there are other parts that you'll do the changes and then they'll go and come back again and they're like, okay, let's revert to this, then you do this and then you change, and then because you design variation number 4, and then they're like, I think the version 1 that you had done is actually better, so let's go all the way back to version 1. And you're like, if you had defended your design that time, hamngekuwa mmeenda hizi steps zingine zote tatu. So yeah, it's honestly it's a lot of burnout, but we are I also learned how to communicate that in my contract, in initial like engagement and all that. Of course, not making mediocre designs so that you mfanye revisions imefika hapa. Like, you have to do the best so that they don't have to keep making the changes. And the best way sometimes to avoid the endless revisions ni, maybe for example you're working on like an onboarding screen or something. Do like design A, design B, design C, and then you give them that. So this way they'll be able to pick what they prefer, or they'll be like, combine this section in A with this section in B, and yeah, we'll have now a new design, a new screen. The challenge is every time you make a design and then you show it to them, it's nature, it's natural. Somebody will be excited and then they're like, wanaona your vision, they can see now, okay, my product is coming to life. Now can you change this here? Can you move this button from here to, can you put it as color pink? Can you put this as color yellow or something? So, but if you give them options, they can at least now be able to tell, okay, since you already have the brief, so they can easily be like, okay, let's pick this and this, yeah, then you move. Like, inakuwa a bit easy to avoid sasa hizo iterations. Okay, let's add this, let's do. I think from my experience, that is, kuna points, like the changes have been made, the input or the changes have come from the client so much, like now you get a creative block juu hii design sasa ujuu na tengeneza juu, it's no longer yours.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's has been like, I think that's something I faced. So nikaona the best way, it's okay, you've told me what you want, I'll make a couple of variations, then I'll show you, then we can work around that based on, again, the user experience and what you're trying to communicate in this product. That way the client won't get carried away na anakuja na, like, of course, I mean, the revisions always happen, see that changes the fact that they will come up with a new idea as well na waongeze hapo. But nimeona inapunguza the whole back and forth and endless iterations on a certain screen, basically. Yes. And also pia avoid now getting a creative block. Juu sasa design imechangiwa sana, uko like, hey, how do we move from here? Juu you had a whole idea of how the flow looks like, but now things have changed. You don't know how to move from there. Yeah, I think that's the experience naweza sema ya iterations.
Okay, I see. But sasa what happens when you get like that rigid client mwenye? Ndio, like, of course we defend with facts and data and all, but sometimes their way is just their way.
Yeah, I think hapo tu sasa you do what they want. I think, yeah, I think the best way was that, like, as long as, I mean, it's ethical from your end in terms of like this UX makes sense, then you do what the client wants. You just put, amesema nataka sijui, or they want round buttons na wewe ulikuwa umeanza na buttons zenye ziko na kidogo radius. You just, yeah, I mean, that's not a big, that's not going to affect the UX mostly. So yeah, you just make those changes. But kama sasa sijui ni ya kumove this form to here, you now, I think sometimes, because UX ndo huko are mainly affected. UI mostly, mostly the client will see that and they're like, okay, I see this is here, but can we move it here? So I think keeping in mind the user's experience, itakusaidia sana to know what to accommodate as input from the client and what to retain as, you know, part of the design principles as well.
Lakini for all this time yenye umekuwa freelancing, ni the other side of freelancing. We are talking about the good side of freelancing. The other side of freelancing ni gani?
Yeah, tell us what people don't tell us. Or what we don't see on.
Okay, funny, what don't people tell? Okay, so let me tell from an experience that please, future employers, this is not me when you employ after this, but the thing is, I bit more than I could chew, so I got overwhelmed, and I was not able to deliver. Actually, like, the contract ended before it started, which really pained me. Like, okay, like I was supposed to have done it at a certain time or something, but then nilikuwa sasa na kumalizia this, and then I had like other things I was doing as well, so I got overwhelmed. Like, I think that's the challenge that I faced. And then the other bit is, I think there's burnout. Actually, yeah, that's the word. I was experiencing burnout that time. I think it's also because I was trying to now get into the whole routine of, what I can, trying to learn how much I can handle at a go. So yeah, it was, I mean, I just, baptism by fire. So that's how I learned how much I could be able to handle at a given time, that is. And then the other bit is, there's now the burnout. That happens a lot, and it's a bit tough. Like, you're not working with a big team. In this case, for me, it's been like as an individual, but sometimes I'll probably work with a friend or two. So there's that burnout for, like, you don't have an update for the client, but si ati hujakuwa ukifungua your Figma or like opening your notebook and doing research and all that. You're just stuck. But the best thing is just, talking to them and getting to explain like what you're working on or what you're trying to achieve, because sometimes they will help jumpstart you. Actually, that has happened. And so again, yeah, communication is very important. So yes, there's a burnout. Then the other part is late payments. Whew. Yeah, so Mimi sahi hata anashtukianga tu, like people are saying it's end month, I'm like, oh, ni end month, I didn't know, like, cause your money just flies in any times. Like, like there's a client who ended up paying me like 7 months past the time we worked together, and I was like, how are you expecting I have survived these 7 months that you anyway? So yeah, there's that. There's late payments or irregular, like, flow of income, because again, it's not like you have gig after gig after gig. There was actually there was somebody who tweeted and said, like, you need to plan for like 6 months because you can't go without a gig, and then somebody was like, there's no, you can go 6 months without a gig. Hey, don't I have a story? So yes, well, it's tough. It is very tough. Like, freelance, we forget about being shy, or for me, that is what I have learned. Like, I mean, there are still introverts who are like doing freelance, but for me, I have not actually used any freelancing platforms yet. Maybe I'll give them a try next year or something. So for me, it's mostly based on referral or like just social media posts and all that. That's how I've gotten my clients. So that means you have to put yourself out there, and you have to like always be advocating for yourself. Hata venye like people are like, I'm shy, I don't want to keep on mixing work with life. Like, your life is your work and your work is your life. Like, so you just have no option but to actually just talk about what you do if you actually want money. So there's that. Yeah, like work-life balance, damn, like, me sijui, like, at this point, even my mother knows what I do. She has my portfolio in case she wants to share it to anyone. She finds Jimmy Lumwambia, like, I've tried explaining what I do, but yeah, so this is it. So if you ever, like, you and your the mamas at Hachama or something, they want design, I was like, yeah, like, this is what I do. So, trying to, and I think, the other party is also now getting to, reach a point where now you need to learn what maybe is it like your target clientele is, because I think that narrowing it down to like who you want to work with or work for sometimes will help you to be able to, to avoid unnecessary trouble in along the way. But I mean, for you to get to that point, that's definitely a privileged point, I'd say. Like, you need to have umepanda kiasi in terms of like your experience in freelance for you to know, okay, I want to do this. Like, I want to work purely with clients in Web3, or I want to work purely in fintech, or agri-tech, or whichever field. But again, so it's just that, like, I mean, you get to, because every day, sasa leo nimeamka, leo I'm doing research on this, and it's fintech, nini, kesho ni health tech. So you have all this information you've been gathering around, and you're like, okay, anyway, it's helping me. Next project I'm going to work with, I'm going to do this. So yes, there's a lot of sacrifice in terms of time as well. Yes, you have the free time, the free will to do everything, but then, yeah, freelance inanga free time. So someone will be like at you, at least for employment, you're like, when are you free? And somebody will tell you Friday. Hey, Mimi, I don't have that. Even on Sunday, I'm just on my laptop because, well, yeah, the deadline has to be met. So there's that. Like, there's a freedom for you have your time, but sometimes, yeah, your time is never there. So as much as it's fun and all that, honestly, I don't think there's a big difference between, based on how like I've been working and the routine I've had, I can't tell there's a big difference between me and somebody like who's doing 8 to 5 remotely, perhaps. Like, it's, if they end up extending at work, same thing I'm doing. Yeah, but still I'd prefer this, honestly. Yeah. So I think those are some of the challenges. But hiyo ya kulipwa, hey. Yeah. Being paid late. Hiyo.
Wengine wetu hatujawahi lipwa gig zingine mpaka tukaona wameenda mpaka wamechange.
Yeah, there's that actually. So, but the good part is now, if you have a contract, ukiwa na contract yenye ni like a solid contract, because I really learned to advocate for myself. Unajua wako like, ni sawa tu, it's fine. But mimi sai, like, I'm just like, okay, I already communicated this and this and that. So, because this is your expertise at stake, this is your time, this is your energy and everything. Like, you're not doing them a favor. You're actually like offering them a service. So it has to be very, like, I've learned to be very strict in terms of when I am communicating what I need to be facilitated in terms, so that I can be able to deliver on my end. So yeah, freelance will teach you to develop thick skin, definitely.
Where?
So in short, before you become a freelancer, you need a lot of skills, including time management. Kuna communication.
Yes.
Kuna finances. Yeah, like you need to understand, like.
Oh yeah. You need to understand finances. You need to understand how to save, how to, yeah, because you see your flow of income is not like, I mean, leo umepata pesa ya kulipa rent and for this month and next month, but then next month you don't get anything. So if you hadn't planned well, ukamaliza pesa last month, then it's going to be tough for this month. So you need to learn a lot of, financial management, communication, being assertive. I think that kwanza hiyo part ya like asking for your money, or even like asking for information from the sometimes utapata mtu anakwambia eti we design tu unipe samples, then we can start talking from there. Like, no. We need, so yeah, I was just like, can you give me a brief of what you want me to do? Not tell me, oh, I want a logo. We fanya tu logo. Alafu nipe 4 variations, then we can start talking from there. Like, I think I learned not to do that anymore.
Mi najua client wako mmoja mwenye hajakulipa. Lakini I'm not. So,
you're not pointing fingers.
Mnaamua kuniongelea, ni sawa.
Give me my money.
Assertive. Chiki, let's get more personal. Mi nataka uambie people, hiyo day tu uliamua, you know what guys, me I'm not doing this 8 to 5 shit anymore. I'm not applying. I'm just doing freelance. Because mi niliona hiyo siku ulituambia sisi supportive fans.
Oh.
And then I remember I even talked about your experience in the first episode. Someone told you about going to the gym, sujui walking while you were applying. Tell us about that and like reasons
Oh,
that
wait.
drove you away from 8 to 5 and employment.
Okay, I think what pushed me to say that was I was really frustrated with like the whole job application process. Honestly, like for like 6 months, like full time. Actually, not even 6 months, because even last year I was still doing an application. I mean, there are points where I was like, okay, I could have done better, but I learned along the way and pushed my application for another time. Nini. So this, like, then there are others, like, I think my challenge has been, especially in the Kenyan market, it's because I have work experience. Like, I finished high school, I worked, then I went to campus, then I went and worked, then I went back to campus. And then now I finished campus, but it's not like I am starting from square one with like, in terms of learning professionalism or learning how to communicate or learning how to, but then I also get to understand that, well, I'm new in this field that is tech, because that's not what I was doing. But again, I was like, I have transferable skills. Like, there are things that, like, I'm not going to do this whole detour for like, 7 years and I'm coming back. And you want me to start working like mtu amemaliza campus jana, because that's all everybody that has graduated yesterday is that's where everybody is supposed to start. So there's that. I have experienced that a lot. And, sometimes somebody asks me, so how much do you want to be paid for this? And then I say, this is what I want to be paid, because I know what value I'm going to bring to that team. Like, I know there are some things I want to be starting from scratch with, when in terms of like just learning and everything. You have already done enough of the internships. I've done enough of like, job shadowing and all that. So I'm just like, I'm coming to actually bring a skill to the table. So I want to be compensated this much for this skill. And then somebody's like, now you're still a student. I'm like, does that really count? Like, is that what you're, because first of all, the things I'm even doing on the side are not even relating to whatever skill I'm bringing here. So there was that. Then there's this person called, okay, it was a referral. A friend had referred me to that position. And then, so this person called me. They didn't ask for my portfolio or anything or whatever. So, and the way LinkedIn will tell you somebody viewed your profile, I didn't get to, of course, I could tell they never viewed my profile. So like, I also didn't like share, because my friend had just shared my phone number. So this person did not look at my portfolio, did not look at my work, did not look at like my work experience, nothing. So they just called me and started interviewing me. And, they're like, okay. So the interesting bit is, I worked in the bank before. So this person is telling me, are you ready to work Monday to Saturday? I'm like, okay, yeah. This time I was really desperate for a job. Like, are you ready to work Monday to Saturday? We're a startup, so you need you to like input a lot of work, and you're closing Q4. Like, we're going to require a lot from you, as much as like you're still in school. I was like, okay, I'm ready for that. Like, yeah, Mimi was like, I'm ready. You just tell me like when I should be starting or whatever. Okay, of course, that's not what I said, but I was like, yeah, I understand what you mean by what you're saying. Then they're like, so we'll be working 8 hours. I'll require 8 hours from you. So then they're like, so how am I sure I'm going to get 8 hours from you since that you're already in school? I'm like, 8 to 5. 8 to 5 is going to be a bit tricky because I have 3 hours of class this time. But I know if you want 40 hours from me for the whole week, you'll get 40 hours from me for the whole week. Like, I know the amount of work, the scope of work I should be doing in 8 hours a day or something. So I was like, don't worry, you'll get your 8. And also the thing is, I knew public institutions, I knew classes in abounds. So I was like, trust me, you'll get the 8 hours. So anyway, so then they asked that question for the 8 hours. I tried defending how I'm going to give the 8 hours. Then they told me, oh yeah, you're supposed to work even on Saturdays. We work on Saturdays. Then they're like, yeah, we're gonna work Monday to Friday 8 to 5. Monday to Saturday 8 to 5. I was like, no, Saturdays at least. Okay, like, can it be half a day? They're like, no, even banks. Then they proceed to mention the bank I worked in. Even banks work on Saturdays, and those people work all the way to Saturday 5 p.m. I'm like, so they kwanza na insist, bank A, this bank, do you know those people work to this time? And you do not want. And I'm like, bro, you should, okay. I have worked in this bank for like 4 years, so I know very well how they work. And now this person is like very, the other part akaniuliza. I was in Nyeri that time. Akaniuliza, so when, so where do you live in Nairobi? I told them. They're like, so our offices are here. So can you be able to walk from home to our office? I was like, I can get public transport. Like, it's actually very easy. I'm like, yeah, I can like just get public transport there. Like, I don't think but again, I could walk, but that would be like maybe like a 40 minutes walk. But I was just like, I can easily get a mat to your offices. Like, yeah, I was like I can easily get there. They're like, no, not commuting. Can you walk? And I'm like, okay. I was like, that's odd, but yeah, it's actually close to home. I said, yeah, I can walk. And they're like, so do you work out? Do you go to the gym? I was like, hi. So I was like really surprised. Actually, I do go to the gym, but I was just like, so I didn't say yes. I was just like, how is that relevant? They're like, no. We need to know if you'll be fit. I'm like, hey, is it an interview for a UI UX designer, or is it for like now an athlete or something? Because I'm not getting this. So yeah, because they're like, no, we need somebody who's like, they're working out or they're fit. It also helps mentally. I was like, whether I go to the gym or I work out or I hike, like that's my business in terms of my fitness. But how are you expecting me to go to the gym if you want me to be working Monday to Friday to Saturday these hours? Anyway, yeah. So that was, and the other questions, like they asked so many questions. Even I don't know, they're just like there are so many questions, but then I think they're also looking for like diversity in terms of gender because they're insisting. So I told them, I think now from the look of things, since you've insisted, you want me to pinpoint to you, because even asked for me to share my school timetable. And I was like, okay, you don't believe that I can actually deliver these 8 hours. So why have you gone through the whole point of you asking me where I live, if I go to the gym, what my experience is, whether I worked, like, and all that. And so I just told them, I think, okay, if you're not sure about me being able to like collaborate with you, then to work with you, then I think that's okay. I can refer someone. It's like, maybe you can refer like a ladies. I prefer like specifically just refer ladies. We are looking for ladies to fill this role. And I was just like, okay. Actually, Chantel, I shared your number. I don't think they ever called you, but I blocked him after.
Was it physical or it was virtual?
It was virtual. Then I was supposed to go physical once I'm done with school, but I was just like, hey. So yeah, I was just like, what? This is crazy. Like that. I think that was one of the craziest interviews I've actually. That tops the list in like how crazy that was. That was a 20-minute plus phone call. That I was just like, wow. I was just like, we could have like jumped through all these things if you asked for my resume or if you asked for my CV or my portfolio. At least that could answer some of your questions about me working, you trusting me with work alone or remotely, and also just about, the whole concert. It was a bit hilarious. Like I almost laughed at that point for this bank, and I'm like stop embarrassing yourself. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, it was weird. I just went to my friend. I told her, Aki, I'm grateful for the opportunity, but no, thank you. And yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that was that interview. And then there was another, the way you do phase one. Aki, I've done this. I see people talking about them, the videos, do a 2-minute video interview. I don't know. Aki, I've done those things. Yani, so I reached a point, I was just like, no, my job is just to wake up, work out, and then start job applications, sit down and open my laptop and start writing cover letters about how great of a team player I am, how great of a designer I have, all this experience. And I was like, it's been like 6 months of me doing the same thing. It honestly doesn't make sense. So I was just like, let me just focus on sharing my work. If that doesn't give me, any feedback on like, or get me any engagements or something, then I think I should now, I don't know, just like, I guess I should now look for other ways to approach this whole job applications. But then literally like barely 2 weeks after I started like actively sharing my work, I get a client. And I was like, come on. Yani, I've spent almost a year and I've gone through all these videos. Oh my God, there's so many videos of myself on this internet or on those recruiters, whatever. So like, just like if I could have started here. So yeah, that's the one thing I learned. Nikasema tu sasa. Maybe I think, actually, after I was like, I've given up on this. So that Chantel, so that's the following day is when the client reached out and they're like, by the way, I want to work with you. And I was like, maybe I just needed to give up. Yeah, but I had done like because there's this interview I did, this person, like I did a first interview, like just a quick call. And then I shared a cover letter, all those things, portfolio, everything. I did a presentation, portfolio presentation, case study presentation. And then I did another interview, a technical interview. And then now I did another video, like answering questions in video format. And then all that, then they tell me they have recruited internally. I was just like, wow. Yeah, that's so that experience times like 5 for real. Like, mimi, I was just like,
ukasema utaki kuandikwa tena.
Mimi hapo ndo nilisema I'm not doing this. But yeah, I mean, definitely like there's the there's a cushioning for that comes with employment. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't mind to be like employed, but again, there are some things ilifika 2 point, I was just like, compromises. There are some compromises I am willing to make, and others I'm just like, yeah, like that whole thing for Suju, we were working this, what, like I was just like, hey, this job environment, hapana. Then there's another one that I got as well. And from the onboarding process, I was just like, I miss you, Azani. As in, or not even that, the way, even how they were reaching out to me on a Sunday evening, sending WhatsApp audio notes. I'm like, Gaia, tujanza kuwork pamoja na mshaanza kunitafuta this much. Nah, like, you have my Kenyan phone number.
Kuna watu bedhi walikuwa na ufalaka hiyo, maybe ni hao watu wako.
Yeah, maybe it's the same people, but yeah, mimi nikasema, I uongo. I'm not doing this. So yeah, there's this. Then kuna zingine, they tell you, okay, you've passed the interview, congratulations, you've joined our team. But then you have to start the application. I'm like, huh?
Ulipatana na hiyo.
What? Ngoja, by that time mislead wasi. Yeah. So, nisha mislead wasi. Apologies for anyone. But niliend up notice a little later, so I was like, next time I'm not doing that. Yeah. So, first email was, of course, tumekagua applicants, tumeangalia kina nani and so of course the first people wamepewa fail. The first person tuambia congratulations. The first step. Unajua mtu akishaona congratulations mbele amalizange kusoma. Yeah. Congratulations umepita the first step, now do this interview. Next itakuwa au kuja utufunze. Sasa hiyo congratulations umepita the first step. I was given user feedback that misleading. So yeah, it happens, by the way.
It happens. Recruiters,
Mi kwanza nataka tuongele do kiasi.
Okay.
Let's talk about how you managed to, like, the first few months of you deciding to freelance. Yes, ulikuwa umesukuma kwa ukuta, but you did have to survive. And so, take us through your experience, what you would have done differently, when it comes to, especially the first few months of your freelancing. Time uko like stabilize on, this is how I'll handle my money. Unless we only grew up with financial literacy. Some of us didn't.
The literacy is there, but is there the money for you to practice the literacy?
Lakini Liza amekuwa kwa job market for the longest. Yeah, amekuwa akifanya kazi akisoma, so probably.
Okay. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, but tafadhali, the time it has taken in the job market does not count. Freelance will humble you. But so there's, like, I think in the whole battle for not realizing, like, when it's a bit too late, you had underquoted your work because now it's week 7, na bado unalipwa for week 3. Like, you're being paid for 3 weeks, but now you're at week 7 with the work. And then there's now the part for burnout. Like, week 7 unafanya like 8 to 10, 8 to 11 every day, like 11 p.m., 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. You just seated working and working and working. So yeah, I realized, okay, maybe there are some things like I need to actually like now look at. And then there's also the part for writing, having clients not paying you in time. So I realized I don't think I want to be, because again, there was that part for atunalipo after. So mi nikasema, it does not matter whatever it is. I'm going to now structure my terms of payment in a way that suits me, because I'd rather you give me the deposit. At least that helps me to be able to just survive while we are still working on this project, and also commit ourselves, because there's also the project for the client tells you get started and then you didn't get on any agreement, or rather you didn't get any payment to start work, and then wana change mind, anasema ama acha tu hiyo tu, saizo ilikuwa passion project yake, so yeye anajifeel this can wait. But then they don't see that you actually invested your time there and energy, and now again hiyo sasa ni hasara on your end. So there was just so many things that led me to sasa nianze I decided to like take this course about learning how to price in terms of UX and also just making making estimates and all that. So I think the first thing is actually it's a very nice course. It's by Anita Nani. Hey, Jonatoli. Yes, it's called Jonatoli. I don't know if that's how the second name is pronounced, but yeah, that's a guy. Is Kwanza I was deep in the mud when I was doing that course. I was like, oh my God, I'm experiencing what exactly you're talking about. So one thing that I learned that I shouldn't do is have a direct answer for this question for Ati, how much would you charge for that? So like somebody, I come and show you like the M-Pesa app and I'm like, how much would you charge for this? But then it's not like you're going to build the M-Pesa app A to Z. So you're going to say that, and then now somebody comes up with something else that is combining all the mobile apps for banking apps in the country. And where will someone charge for this? So the best thing is first here, get to have like, well, it's good to also have a range of like maybe mobile apps I charge from this, mobile app designs I charge from around this to this, or just, yeah. But then that depends on like what the scope of work. So always just work based on the scope of work. Sometimes somebody might come and tell you, I just want you to revamp the onboarding process, and that's it. So you can't come with the same package for this is what I charge for a complete mobile app. So anyway, you get to learn by doing, and also just by making mistakes along the way. So yeah, that was one thing I learned. Then the other part is haggling kwa price, like oh nitakucharge 50, oh niko na 30, oh sijui tufike basi 35, acha nikupe 33. Like it's I mean that's how it happens everywhere. But again, pia sometimes knowing to to defend why it's going to cost them this amount is important. It's not like, because unfortunately, like the client will reach out and tell you, you know, I'm actually paying a really nice price. I'm on my budget here. This, like, it's okay. You don't have to. Hey, msini quote on this, but not every client has to afford you. Not that you have to be expensive. Like, it's okay if, yes, it's okay if your budget is this, but I don't think I can work with that. Like, learning how to communicate that is very important. Because uko tu like, okay, fine, umeona I do a nice job, but ni sawa, like if hatuja agree on the amount that you can be able to pay me for the work that you've seen I can be able to do, it's totally okay. Like, yeah, like we can see where we can meet in the middle. Maybe scope of working as a change. Like, it doesn't have to be a goodbye, that's it. But maybe can work on the scope of work instead of like you are doing everything, we are doing paka empty states and all that. We can just work on this, on the important parts of the app or something. So sometimes it's just work around the features that you might charge heavy, and then yeah, that's it in terms of pricing. Then there's the other part for now. Commit, both of you should commit yourself to the project, like the client and yourself. So that is by the deposit. So I think the best that works for me is working with milestones. Like, yes, so there's the deposit and then there's the milestone 1 has been done, payment for milestone 1, milestone 2 hivo, so that by the time you're reaching the end, you've all been moving together, so that your money is not accumulating na hujawekewa pesa, and now it's also not frustrating on your end, because so that you just don't end up frustrated because of umefanya kazi and then unaambua payment imechelewa. You'd rather have the last payment imechelewa, but you have something to work with as well, because there are bills to pay at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure.
She makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Sasa, thank you very much. Unajua Mariga, I hope umesikia vizuri sana. Unajua mimi nikikwambia umesikizi. Know your value, know your worth. Si lazima useme yes. Not every client has to afford you. Watu wajaribu.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, and they reduce the scope of work if they argue the price is too high. Like maybe if this is what you're charging for the whole package, maybe you can see based on what they've told you, then unaweza package this like this, yeah. But as a freelancer, it's also nice to know your client. Like I feel like that's very important in terms of ni kama you need to learn psychology on the side. You need to know what you're going to charge. A big corporation is not what you're going to charge an individual with a project na self-finance, self-fund, or what you're going to charge a consultancy. Like it's an agency that is like it's different. Not that now I'm charging this and then it's going to change from here, but yeah, it's also nice to know like you can also work with everyone. Like usiko uko rigid ati ni sawa. Though there are people that have of course gotten to that point where it's okay, maybe I only work with big corporations that pay me this much, but yeah, also just like unaweza kuja hapo umeanda quote, you know, if we know how much you charge for this and then you go like me I charge this, and then somebody tells you, oh, okay, yeah, now somebody tells you our budget is this, and then when I realize it's like 3 times what you are about to tell them. I know they won't be like, you're charging less, I would charge more. I don't think people ever say that. Rarely, or rather, I've not experienced that yet.
Nishaipatana na mmoja alishaniambia nilimpatia
wow.
Akaniambia this is too low. Aka triple. Akasema budget yake ilikuwa ni hii.
Wow. That person should be blessed. Yeah. Client anakufunza to know your worth. So yes, it's very, very important. Yeah, but sasa hizo in terms of working na projects, include hizo checkpoints. So isikuwe eti umepewa project and then ni hivyo mpaka mwisho utakuja present ni hivyo, like checkpoints with them, like maybe meetings weekly or bi-weekly to update them, or even just email them updates so that you guys are on the same page with everything. Then cost is always dependent on the scope of work. Like as much as it's nice to have a package, but pia kuwa na your range. Like you'd rather say you charge between this and this so that when they now start so that they know if they can afford you. And then now when you start working, then you have the meeting about the project, then utajua, okay, this is how much I'm going to charge you based on whatever you've told me. And in freelance, usisahau wewe ndo unajilipia your own insurance, your sick leave ni wewe unajisort, like everything. So you have to consider a lot of things. It's not just about, I charge you $20 per hour. There's a lot that you have to consider before you put a certain price to a project. So because bills zote, Wi-Fi nini ni unajilipia, and subscriptions, everything, like stock images. So kama especially for designers, if you're going to get stock, I mean the best thing is you want to offer the best work to your clients. Then if you're going to, like, maybe you have subscriptions for stock images, then also consider that in terms of when you're going to charge them, price them and all that. Or you can even have that in the contract that maybe the client can buy that image for themselves, so unawa bill on their end hivyo tu, ama you just guide them on buying the images, but you're not going to buy it ati ungoje urefundiwe. So it's a lot of things that honestly zingine tu it's by experience, it's new territories. Saa zingine unapatana na at very unique case, unashindwa sasa hii sijaambiwa about anyone. Or the other thing is you need to know who you can call to ask for zile za, okay, I'm stuck here, what's going on, I need what do you think I should do here? Like, yeah, so somebody who understands what you're doing and also what you're working on. So in this case, for me, another designer would like be the best fit in this scenario. Zile zanamuliza, okay, what am I doing? How much do you think I should charge given this case in the scenario ameniambia nini? Yeah, wanakusaidia juu there are people who've been there before you. It's not like it's a new experience. So yeah, I think the pandemic was just a new experience for all of us. But aside from that, we've all, there's somebody who's been there before you. So yeah, always just look for someone. And the other thing is, especially for budding designers or somebody looking to just get started on something, don't be humble. I mean, be humble enough to start from scratch. Like, usifike tuko like, me by the way, akuna venye I was being paid this much and munataka kuniambia ati I need to be paid this. Like, it's okay. Like, be ready to start from scratch if it's a new territory or it's something new that you're working with. But again, know how low is too low for you. I think that's the thing. Like, don't always work with, even though watu wote wanalipwa, you just know what you want and then work with what works with you. At the end of the day, it's the money goes to your pocket. Now ndo unajua venye utaitumia. So yeah, which is very important. And never say no to a project. Juu iko na low price. Maybe that's a project that will help you get a chain of other new clients. So yeah, like if you have the time, or you can spare the time to work on a certain project, like you learn something definitely, because there are side projects I've done with friends and I'm just like, wow, this is actually, like you get to learn something in terms of collaboration as well. Na pia just the challenge that the new project brings. Yes, I think tuongea sana. So that is it.
Based on that, I can also add, if you get a project that what they're paying is a bit low than what how you, I mean, with your value, the thing but this is what I've learned of late. When you get that project, don't let go of it. Assign someone mwenye anafika hiyo bei.
Oh yeah.
And then you kind of like manage, na kimpango. See, not you are there fully. You
yes,
find yourself, yes. Sometimes unapatanga ina kufungulianga some other more jobs yenye inafika value.
Yes. Yeah. Connections. That's how you make connections.
Yeah.
I think you answered my question, Mariga. I was just about to ask, while Liz Anna go by know your worth and reducing the scope of work, you do the exact opposite. you like unaongezanga scope of work to low budget projects. So I wanted to ask, like, how do you maneuver? And then sasa umejibu assign someone mwenye anaweza chukua hiyo tu.
Yeah. Circulate the work within your network. Utapata tu there's somebody who is okay with that, and it's. I mean, I've been there. I can say I've also like done that like recently. Somebody also like alini assigned that. So it totally depends. But you see, I'll be like, ni Mariga ndo nilipe yo kazi and they delivered. That's all that matters. Whether Ali outsource from Chantel or not, that's between the two of you. But I know the person I'm going to approach next time again for work is Mariga. So it's actually really nice. It just helps to, and also inasaidia another person, another maybe another designer or another junior or just somebody who needed that opportunity. So it's nice. So sometimes it's just look for a way to work around that.
Yeah.
Namlipe tax.
Taxes.
Utakuja kutuonyesha how to?
Hey, taxes. Actually, yeah, because there's I remember I was told to check e-teams ya KRA. So nimeenda nimesearch e-team as in teamwork, e-teams. I'm like shinda hii platform ya non-Kenyans na sign up ya kufanyia nini? Like how then don't I realize, okay, e-teams. Yeah, and then I registered. So yes, of course so it's nice to like just cover all the grounds. There are some will be like, okay, this including tax from their end or something. And then there are others who are like, especially in Kenyan companies or Kenyan clients, they'll want to use that in time tax returns in their business. So now they'll be like, we need you to use eTeams to generate your invoice to us, so that, they'll use that invoice at the end of their financial year, waki file returns or something. So it's nice to know, like, there's a lot of things, like in terms of payment, kwanza unahitaji ujipange. Then there's now the bank accounts, have a bank account. Yes, that's very important. Yes, so for payments, unaeka tu hapo, and then, just know what to work around. And also, if you're definitely, I assume everybody wants to also look like for international clients as well, have accounts you can be paid through that. Like, tena isikwe sasa, okay, imefika time ya kulipwa, naanza Chantel, by the way, uko na account ya USD, like, come on. So you need to set yourself like vizuri, like mapema tu. Like, it's actually not going to cost you anything. Be prepared for opportunities. Zisikupate alafu unapata auko ready. So yeah, I think those, me, I learned a lot of things that time. It was like a span of 3 months where I was just realizing there's so many things I had ignored, so many things I had not looked into and all that. But yeah, I eventually just managed to face that. But learning about how to, time projects, estimate projects, and how to estimate the pay as well, that really saved me a lot, because it has helped in terms of even like knowing, and yeah, this is what I'm standing by. Yeah, so I think, honestly, it's not black and white. There are some things itabidi tu experience ndo uelewe. Sadly.
Yeah, vitu mingi you learn on a go, because
yes
because you find freelancing is not like any other job which has a structure. You see, like when you're employed, they have a structure, they have a policy. But freelancing, you learn on go. Today you learn this, tomorrow I need this thing. And then people doing freelancing, they get to advance every day in terms of knowledge than people who are employed. Anajuanga tu nikifika kazi yangu ni hii, wengi na kazi yangu ni hii na ni hivyo. Lakini hiyo freelancer leo, kesho kutu unafaa upige hesabu fulani, ndio unagundua kumbe kuna kuanga na calculator inakaa hivi.
True. Freelance, honestly, imenifunza a lot of things, but I've learned at the end of the day, despite your vumbi yote nimeona in freelance, I still would choose that any day, because having experience 8 to 5 and other variations of remote and what I was just like, this is so peaceful, honestly. I mean, maybe by next year my thoughts would have changed on that, but as it stands, it's very fun for me. And I think because it's also the first time, see, like I said, I just started working immediately after high school, so this is the first time I have been free, like, uko tu. So imagine sasa hata saizo sina client, so niko tu so I think for me it's because, maybe I'm saying that because it's the first time I'm actually enjoying freedom for the first time. Like, you're waking up, you're not going by a certain schedule, mara classes, or you're waking up to go to work. So for me, that works. And sometimes when you're tired, you just decide you're not taking up this project, or maybe you get to see when you can start, and unajipea to break, which is really nice. Because kwanza your part, I have loved that, and you can easily work around your schedule and be available in other places. Like, I can easily be able to attend a workshop and learn something and network, because I've just planned around that. Sasa, that's the thing I've been asking my friends. Okay, sasa nikikuwa employed, guys, what am I going to do with all these things I have been doing while niko tu in freelance? So that's the thing.
Usipate watu kiburi waanze kuresign kazi yao, tafadhali
amjasikia nimekaa miezi 6 bila kazi, mnataka kuresign? Tafadhali. The market, anyway, there's abundance. There can never be something like too many designers. Honestly, that's one thing I noticed. There'll always be somebody who needs your skills, for real.
Asante.
It's
as that is the market is saturated. Ndio, lakini come on.
Yeah, okay, true. It is saturated. I mean, I have not gotten a job in Suji how long, but
it's not saturated. It's not.
Yes, it is. Like you'll find
for designers, majority of the designers when wanasema iko niko designing iko flooded, ni story moja. Hawa sasa kuchora buttons na kila kitu wanaachia hapo. They never go beyond designing. You see,
okay.
as a designer, you are a designer.
Maringo utatuambia what designing.
Ndio nashanga. Yeah, but there's
like,
I think you need to be all rounded. I think sahi watu wanatafuta, like, we just don't need the skill. We need an all rounded person and all that.
Liz, let me ask you, how can you be a freelancer and a designer and you need to be a project manager?
Oh, of course you should be a project. Oh.
Yes, true. Exactly. Unaona, like that's the thing. So you've learned a lot about, like, because you see now, especially if you go to, for example, you're working with big companies or just like big teams. Hapo kona, like there's a whole hierarchy of everybody that is cushioning you from the client. So wewe tu unakuja kupewa deliverables kwa like, okay, we need this screen, these things changed and evil. But then in freelance, ni wewe sasa, you dig deep, you fight, you do research, you need to network and get people outside your comfort zone. Like literally just look for people to help you be able to do what you're doing. Okay, to do your job. That is it, wakufanyia kazi yako, but zile I'll call Mariga and be like, okay, by the way, what do you think about, like, in this ama maybe easy screens unaona, what do you think about this? Because like there's that, and also now there's the other part for hiyo mambo yote ya project management, timekeeping, kila kitu, kila kitu when you schedule everything, cause mimi have and just kila kitu too. There's a lot to learn, honestly. So it makes you an all-rounded person. Mimi, I've loved that, and I can say right now it's been nice because I finally reached that balance for, I know how much I can take in terms of me doing the work, and also I know when I need to rest. I know how my schedule is. I know how far I need to push myself. Yeah, that's it. So it's been interesting, and also teaching myself now how to, as much as I've said your work is your life and vice versa, also now learning when to separate the two, because it's also important that you also have a life outside work. So yeah.
Yes. Manzeite. Lakini na kitu moja sasa, as in hizi ni kama takeaways. Ya kwanza, you need to go around.
Unaanziaje ya mwisho, but sawa.
Hiyo ni ya kwanza, you need to go around. You wear hats for everyone. That's the first thing. The second thing, ukue ready kupigwa na finances. Na in terms of ujuangi venye work in a flow. So you have to balance your finances. Another thing, when you're starting, lazima ujisukume mara mingi sana. Juu ukianza ndio workload ni mingi, kuna burnouts kadhaa before ujue una balance wapi, because it never starts from day one. Ama?
Yeah, true.
You compare yourself right now na when your time ulianza freelancing. Sisa at least you're a bit free than when you started.
That's free. Okay, true. Like I know there are so many things I know about. Kuna ile time I know I'm pushing myself, kuna ingine tu najua I know I'm just doing nothing. I'm just tired doing nothing. So yeah, there's definitely a big difference. I can tell.
Okay. So mi kitekawe zangu mainly zilikuwa, so when starting usijifanye mjanja, like chill to gain enough skills. So punguza kasheshe za kupata niche. So when you end up doing user research for a food app, you do user research for a medical app, you do so it's a skill you're building. And when you manage to do like and get important skills for the right experience, I think by that time sana anakuanga kona enough projects to showcase. Hata akiamua ku scale down to a niche, atapata tu do.
Yes.
I think that's what I got mainly. Watu sana hiyo story ya get into a niche. Hata ujuangi ni gani unataka kudesign vizuri. Labda unataka kufanya rentals na mtu amekukalia na medical.
Oh yeah, ama unataka kufanya landing page and mobile. Yeah, like maybe you're good with websites, you don't want to work with like mobile apps or something. Like in a depend too. For the moment, maybe I'm generalizing, but still upskilling, learning something in terms of like to even design for say Web3, I need to understand the whole ecosystem in Web3 for me to design for that. So like you get to learn, and every day it's learning. School shule si mwisho. So yeah, you still have to learn. You have to keep upskilling and everything. And another ya mwisho sasa, guy nisiongeze sana. Keep impeccable records. Like, you have this client, have a folder for every client na project yake. So every time you're starting a project, you have documents zote from the first invoice to the contract to mambo's proof of payment, everything, so that you just have everything there, so that when you get somebody like huyo anakulipa 7 months later, in case because sometimes things might escalate and becomes a legal issue, so you'd rather have your documents in order if that happens. But I hope that never happens. But it's that's not the reason for you to keep a good record. Just keep a good record so that you don't end up sending Mariga invoice ya Chantel. That's the point. So just make sure you have your work organized. You have to be very, very organized. And yes, so when you're anasema project management inabidi tu. Unajipanga everywhere.
Yeah, makes sense. I think, that's a really, really valid. We ongeza tu zikikuja, sawa? So I think naweza sema another reason for keeping records. Umeita kizungu mingi. Keeping records ni like itakusaidia sana na kutengeneza portfolio yako na key studies. You'll be able to know how you made your design decisions and stuff like that. But we need to be wrapping up. We'll have you this. I don't think we'll come umemaliza. I think you really have a lot to tell us, and that's okay. We'll have another session for that. But before we wind up, what would you tell our listener right now? With that one person who's listening to you and amefika hapa kumaanisha amepata so much value.
Okay. Okay, thank you for staying tuned. Yes, Kenya Design Conversations is always a vibe. So, but what I'd say is be patient with yourself, and especially when it comes to, so let me speak about the freelance part. Learn to be patient with yourself and be honest with yourself. Know when you're actually, it's your fault or when you're messing up, and when it's, it's other factors that are beyond your control. Also, just learn to sacrifice, because that requires a lot of sacrifice in freelance. Your time, everything, like there's a lot, especially time, I think, mostly. But yeah, there's a lot of sacrifice and compromising in terms of, like, you'll have to invest in a lot of things, because you're not being funded, you're not being given a new setup by the company you've joined. It's you, because you're just freelancing. So you need to actually now invest in your work and everything. So there's a lot that goes into that, and just know that it takes time. But pia ni vizuri to know whether one thing works for you or the other. So, because there are some people who will, I'll be here saying, I thrive in freelance. Freelance is the best. You guys should join freelance. But then maybe you thrive the best in employment or both. So also know, like, it's not for everyone, but this skill applies to, you're going to freelance at some point, maybe atakama you're employed, like you're going to do a side gig, or when you're getting started in the job market. So still, there are skills that you need to learn as you go. But mainly be patient, be willing to learn, and be willing to learn, be patient with yourself, and be honest with yourself. Yes. Na usiogope watu. So I'd say that, in a nutshell, that there's a lot of learning and growing, but it's fun. It's fun. It's very fun. You'll meet awesome people. I think this is what you never mentioned, ya mwisho. The best part is when you finally get to meet the client in person, if actually that happens. And you're like, oh, we've been working on this, and finally we're having lunch together as a team, like a small team we built. Hata kama tu inaisha in like next week we are done with the project. But it's actually really nice. Like you get to meet people, different people, and I think that's the fun part about it. So I think I'd say that that is it. And thank you for hosting me. It was fun.
Thank you for agreeing to come. Unajua venye leo ulikuwa na kazi mingi, hata we've almost not had it, but tuwezi risk tena not having it.
It has been a great pleasure having you. Akimina kizungu anyway, ni sawa. Nitaenda shule one day. Najua nilisomea shule inaitwa Nyatie Primary School.
Sema jina yako tumalize.
Mariga is here.
Okay, primary. Hiyo ni kitambo, come on. Na high school, hapo sikia high school ni Alliance. So unataka kublame primary school?
Foundation, my friend.
Foundation. Na high school.
Hakuna. Anyway, but true. Mi natamaningi sana to know how to, not to know, like I know, just that I find it hard kujaribu kuongea Sheng. Like, I think ni juu kwa tumefunzwa Kiswahili sanifu. So now, kuongea Sheng or like English perfect, Kiswahili perfect. So hapo in between, which is unfortunate because inakwanga poa. Like, ajui kwa default yangu.
Usiseme it's unfortunate. Let me tell you something. Kuna sisi wenye hatujui Kizungu ama Kiswahili lakini tunajua Sheng. Do you know how taboo that is? Nani alitufunza Sheng? Sisi tulipelekwa shule kusoma nini? Si ni Kiswahili na English.
English and Kiswahili. But unajua, like the thing is, unajua both. See, like unajua all of them. Hata mimi najua, see like sijui Sheng, I know Sheng. Ni kuongea, you know the way like you'll hear someone speak Sheng na mimi tu naongea tu. Like iko tu. Like it's just, well, mtanifunza kuiongea. Like najua kuongea Kiswahili sanifu. So it's either, I think ni juu tu we're being beaten for speaking, you know, mambo za kupoa disc primary. Hizo primary school za majina za DEB.
At least unapewa disc Kiswahili yenye si. Unajua nilikuwa napewa disc ya kuongea Kikisi literally.
Oh my God. Wow. I've been Chandareta, your host. Tafadhali, tumeona ni kama 30% of our listeners are not subscribing. Please subscribe. Inasaidia wase wengine kufikia information. It's very valuable kama umefika hapa. So
Yes. Subscribe.
Yes. I've been Chandareta, your host, Kenyan Design Conversations, and my guest,
Elizabeth Musanga.
Bye.